This episode of Gun Culture Radio is brought to you by the Sonoran Desert Institute of Firearms Technology. They are an online accredited gunsmithing college, and you can check them out at sdi.edu. Enjoy the show.
All right, I got my buddy Rod on the show this time, and we used to work down at the car jail.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, those were the days. That was an interesting place, I have to say. I mean, really, it was car jail basically. You know, I mean, if the car's human put it into an unfortunate situation, then it got impounded there.
Yes, it did. Yep, behind barbed wire, fenced in lot.
Yeah,
with sensors and armed security and
yeah, and
serious stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, just constantly people were trying to come in there and steal cars. It was a constant thing, constant shootouts. I mean, it was crazy.
People climbing the walls to try to get their car back. They couldn't keep away.
Yeah, no, it was a very that was what made it kind of fun, is because it was just such a chill job. You know, it's like from my perspective, security, nothing happened.
That's true.
The most I had to do, I think, was one time I had to stand up because someone was getting kind of angry or something.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And that was it. That was all I had to do.
Stand up, show your gun on your side there. They just said, oh, the security guard stood up.
Yeah.
I guess I'll chill out.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, that's the thing. No one's really coming there to cause any big problems necessarily. I mean, there was a couple of times, I think, where somebody actually did. What was that? Before we started working there, some guy like stole his motorcycle out of it or something?
Oh, yeah. That was, that was after you left, actually. Some guy that stole the motorcycle came back to the impound lot and re-stole it from us.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of, there was a time before where it was a car, though, not a motorcycle. That's right. But yeah, so the guy, he cut the fence, or he just...
Yeah, he planned this ahead. He cut the fence, cut the links to the motion sensors and everything, because most of the time the guards had the motion sensors shut off.
Yeah.
Because they kept going off. You know, a bird lands and it goes off. After a while, you just, shut them off.
They were way too sensitive. I mean, because there was so much wildlife around there. He was a rabbit. I mean, it was useless, basically.
So yeah, he pre-planned it because he led police on a high-speed chase on a stolen motorcycle. You know, they had the helicopters up. They finally found the motorcycle. They didn't find him. So about a month later, he came back and re-stole the motorcycle. So he's got some balls there, I guess.
Yeah, he does. Wow, I must have been really attached to that motorcycle.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Yeah, and the fact that it wasn't even his initially. He stole it in the first place.
Yeah, it was stolen. It wasn't his.
Wow, that's like, I remember whenever my dad used to work as a reserve deputy. He told me some story about a guy who called the police to report a motor that got stolen out of a car that he stole.
Oh man, that sounds like a mistake.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, sometimes the crime situation works itself out, because sometimes people that get involved in crime are not the brightest.
Oh, I know.
But those are the ones you hear about, so it's they're not all like that.
That's true. Sometimes somebody come to pick up their car down at the impound lot, and I let them know, oh, hey, by the way, you can go to the police station and get your marijuana that you left in the car. They got it in the storage locker down there. Interested. So they're like, what? I didn't.
What's Mara? What are you talking about?
What is that? I don't know what that is. But,
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we get all types down there, from homicides to suicides.
Yeah.
It's a pretty crazy place sometimes. People ask me, they say, oh, you got an interesting job. I'm like, if that's the way you feel, sure.
It's the most interesting, boring job there is, probably.
Yeah. It's not, it's not constant over there that you're busy. There's free time, a lot of it.
Yeah. But I remember it was always interesting to see some of the cars that had been shot and stuff. I mean, some of them, it was sad. I mean, I try not to be like callous about it. Someone got hurt or whatever, but it was still interesting ballistically as a gun guy to see what the bullets pass through, and there really isn't much that stops bullets in cars. I mean, there weren't many cars that I saw where the bullet didn't seem to go through most of it. Usually it would get lodged in the second door a lot of times.
Right.
Or I've seen some where there apparently the what do you call it? I can't think of the name for it, but whatever the piece of metal is that connects the top of the car to the to like the like on either side of the windshield, the front
pillars.
Windshield. Yeah, the pillars. Whatever.
Pillars, I guess they call them.
Yeah, those have some pretty thick metal in it because I've seen that stop some rounds before or slow it down. But
I think they must, because my car, the pillars are only like an inch wide, so something's in there that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, which makes sense. It would have to, because you got a small amount of surface area holding up a lot of weight and needs to be strong. But yeah, so I mean, bullets, that's one thing that's a misconception that some people have, I guess from movies, that car doors stop bullets, and they just don't. I mean,
no.
Unless it hits something just really perfectly, it's just really it's not going to.
Yeah, I always think when I see cars like that, I try to think in my head how it must have went down,
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you got my money? No, I don't have your money. Then something happened, and the guy's trying to drive away, and the other guy's like, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
As he's driving away, through the windshield, through the doors.
Because some of those you can kind of tell, because like the first couple shots look kind of head on in the door, and then you see one that's at an angle.
Yeah.
So it's like the car's driving away.
Yep. And they got their... I don't know what they do. The police got their measurements of, the angle it came from, the trajectory, and this and that. They got that tape stuff on there.
Yeah. I think they have like little things that they stick in the bullet holes and then they measure it or something like that. Little sticks or something. One thing I noticed though is a lot of times when you see cars that have been shot from the side, like into the door, the bullet holes are usually pretty high up on the door. So it's like they didn't necessarily think to shoot. I mean, really anywhere in the door would have been, it's going to pass through about anywhere. But I guess it was like they're trying to hit the person through the window.
Right.
And they're shooting a little bit low and hitting the door. So I guess if you're ever in that situation and someone's shooting at you, you can assume that maybe they won't think to just flat out shoot through the door. So if you actually get down and duck, and it might save you. But
might save you.
Hard to know, though.
Yeah, then people come down, the family members, if the guy got killed or whatever, to retrieve the car after it's off a hold. And, it's got blood on the seat. And it's kind of an emotional thing for people picking up a deceased car from somebody that died.
It is. I remember one time I had to escort a family down there to pick up a car, and their daughter had just been murdered.
Oh, great.
And they were getting her car, and they were kind of upset because they had to pay money to get it out, and stuff.
That's probably the hardest part of the job is, the either traffic fatalities or homicides when the family comes to get the car, because hopefully we have a heads up on what the car is here for, Don't just send somebody down there without knowing what the deal is.
Yeah.
And say something stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm always afraid of that. You're gonna say the wrong thing in that that situation.
I know what happened.
Yeah, they've had the ones where I remember this one night a car came in, and I knew instantly when I saw it that's a fatality. There's no way anybody walked away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, later that night, guy comes limping in, coming to get his car. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. How is that possible?
You made it?
Yeah. But there's something about people who are drunk and people who fall asleep at the wheel. They tend to survive car accidents somehow.
It's gotta be because you don't try to fight it, I guess.
You don't tense up.
Yeah, you don't tense up. You don't even know you hit something, You're just like, it must be, because it happens a lot. You see the cars mangled and the guy didn't get hurt at all. He just rolled with it,
Yeah. So if you see a car, if you see you're about to get into an accident, just take you a little nap.
Yeah, just relax.
Yeah, just chill out.
As you see the back of the truck closing in,
just drift off asleep.
Just like Nirvana.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
And you should make it.
That's right. Yeah. So
that's advice I wouldn't take, but You could try it.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Exactly. Oh man. But yeah, so we got to know each other pretty well, working all those long hours. But one thing that I thought that one experience you've had in your life that I find really interesting is that, well, for one, you were in the Navy, and you lived in Japan for like 3 years, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I joined the Navy. Oh gosh, I guess it was 1977. And first they sent me to San Diego to get trained.
Yeah.
I was a radioman, and I went to training out there in San Diego. First I went to boot camp, of course, in Florida, Orlando, which was interesting. But yeah, Japan was it was an eye-opener. It was a lot of fun. I had a good time over there.
Yeah, I bet that. Well, of course, you grew up out on the East Coast, right? And then moved to California at some point.
Yeah, well, I was born in upstate New York and grew up most of my life in Connecticut, and then my family, like all Northerners do, they moved to Florida.
Yeah.
After a while, I was about 12 years old. We moved to Sarasota, Florida, because the parents start looking at the heat and oil bills and thinking, why do we live up here in this frozen? I mean, it's beautiful. Connecticut in the summer, it's pretty beautiful state. It looks a lot like Tennessee, actually, but it's pretty cold in the winter.
Yeah, I can imagine it gets pretty cold there. And Florida's a pretty awesome place. I mean, if I was doing something different, I might live down there. I mean,
I enjoyed it. I mean, my parents, we moved down there. They bought me a little boat. I had a little Boston whaler.
Yeah.
With a 40 horsepower on it. I couldn't ask for a better childhood.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, so Japan, pretty different from the places that you lived, before, obviously. So so that had to have been an interesting, just a culture shock, because it's like,
yeah,
like everything was basically different, right? I mean,
people look different. They talk different, of course.
Yeah.
They all look alike, basically. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but they all got black hair.
Yeah.
And they all got brown eyes. Whereas, Americans are a little different. We got blonde hair, red hair.
Because we're a mix from
purple hair.
Yeah, we're a mix from all the different places.
Right.
Yeah, so when you go to any place that's not like that, then it's like everyone seems the same to us because we're so used to everyone being from everywhere else. So.
I know when I flew over there, when you fly to Japan, generally, I went from the West Coast, so I went, we stop in Alaska because you're like basically going over the Arctic there.
Oh, okay.
It's the quickest way to get there over the Arctic. So we had a little stop in Alaska, then on to Tokyo. But once they picked us up in a bus, we had a bus pick us up, and the Japanese driver had Japanese radio on, of course. Like we would have American radio on.
Yeah.
And there was a man and woman talking. I had no clue what they're saying, but the woman kept saying, hi, hi. The guy would like, hi, hi. So I thought to myself, I assume that means yes, evidently.
Yeah.
And I was right. It meant yes. So hi means yes. Whereas hi over here means hi.
Right. Hello.
Or hi. I'm hi.
Yeah.
But so I learned my first Japanese word within 5 minutes of getting dropped off on the bus there off the plane.
Were you able to learn much Japanese in the time you were there? Or?
I should have learned more, but once I secured a Japanese girlfriend, she spoke pretty good English.
She was a translator.
Yeah. And you could pretty much get word across, if you want a beer or something to eat, you'd learn how to say that, and you'd get served. I mean, I couldn't have conversations with Japanese people per se, but they were all very pleasant. I didn't have any problems whatsoever.
And they're probably used to a lot of Americans around there just because of the base and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Yokosuka Naval Base is pretty large. I worked at, it was called Commander Submarine Group 7 for the whole 7th Fleet. and I was in communications, a radio man. So we were talking to all the submarines and other ships and aircraft in the area. But yeah, it was a big base.
No, that's pretty cool. One thing I've always wondered about is like how did like the locals feel about Americans in that area, just because there had to have been some tension there. I mean, we did drop some pretty big bombs on their country. I mean, they're understandably so. There had to have been some some tension. Did you ever like run into any problems with them, or did you ever get like a sense of?
Well, for the most part, everybody was very kind and respectful. I can remember on several occasions, though, a real drunk, older Japanese gentleman might be hollering at me on the street. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was born in '56, so
yeah. It's like I was born after it happened. I mean,
yeah. So sorry, but evidently, from what I understand, it saved a lot of American lives because the Japanese philosophy is never to give up, and so everybody, we'd have to fight them door to door, man to man, until we killed every last one of them. So I guess Truman figured, was it Truman or Eisenhower?
I think
Eisenhower.
Truman.
Or was it Truman?
I was thinking it was Truman. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think it was Truman.
Was it? Okay.
That's why even his name to the Japanese meant something. True man, Truman.
Yeah.
That's symbolic to them. Here's a true man. He's going to set things straight with us, and we're scared, especially after that first one.
Yeah.
But it still took them, 3 more days for, we did another one, I think 2 days later.
And then they kind of were forced to.
And they finally said, how many more is coming after that?
They realized that probably we were just going to keep dropping them until they did it. It's a tough thing. I mean, it's really sad. I mean, it's like, I actually watched a documentary on it not too long ago. I should remember whether it was true or not, but I can't.
Pretty brutal.
But it's like, on one side, you can't help but go, how could like one human do that? Like, how could some humans do that to other humans? When you really look at the carnage that happened, it just like melted people instantly, and then just the people who were outside of the radius, and how, I mean, it was just horrific. It just took out an entire city. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. But then, I mean, you look at it, well, okay, what if we didn't do that, and we did go to war with them? We had this big, long, drawn-out war where more and more Americans died, and probably even more Japanese would have died and did from the bombs. And, I mean, it's war. We were at war. Do we set a limit on how big the bombs can be? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we lived in a world without nuclear weapons, maybe it would be a safer world, but I don't know. It's a tough call. I mean, you have that whole stalemate thing too, the mutually assured, destruction. I mean, if it wasn't for nuclear weapons, we probably would have gone to war with Russia, I would think.
Yeah,
already.
I think that's what, I mean, the mutually assured destruction was their thing, right?
Yeah.
We got it, you got it, so we're going to have to just get along.
Yeah.
Because if anything ever happens, I think we still got 1,000 intercontinental ballistic missiles, I believe.
Probably. I think it's funny whenever you hear some big thing in the news, like, oh, we're destroying some of our nukes. Come on, get out of here. That's just a publicity stunt. I mean, if we're destroying them, it's probably because like they're old and we just want to get rid of them anyways. Like, we are, like, all it takes is 50 nukes to just completely mess up the entire planet.
Yeah.
What's it matter if we got rid of like 20 out of 1,000?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine. And that's just counting the intercontinental ballistic missiles, and you got the ones on the submarines.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones the Air Force has got.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's, but I guess we should be happy that they didn't get the bomb first, because I'm sure they probably would have done us too.
Yeah, they might have.
I mean, they got us December 7th when we were, lollygagging over there in Hawaii, so.
And if the Nazis hadn't been stopped, they definitely would have had one.
Oh yeah,
they might have had it first. That that may have been part of the reason why we. No, they wouldn't have had it. They had time to have it first, and they didn't. That's true. They wouldn't have had it first, but they would have had one eventually for sure.
Now some people question, well, why didn't we nuke the Germans? are we like racist against
Yeah, that's a good point.
Asians?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we did firebomb the heck out of the Germans. I
Yeah,
mean, look
it's
at
true.
Dresden, and there was nothing left of that city either. It just took longer, I guess, you know.
It's true.
It was systematic bombing, just boom, boom, constant, day and night. So I don't know.
That's what's crazy how warfare has changed. Where it used to be you had just carpet bomb basically, and so many civilians would get killed. At least now I know a lot still in the Iraq War. Lots of civilians have been killed, but still, at least it's not quite as bad as it was in the past.
Yeah, they try to avoid the collateral damage, as they call it.
Yeah,
but
war is war. It's just it's just a tough call. When it comes to the whole atomic bomb thing, like I almost don't know like really where I side on it. Because
it's
rough.
It
saved lives maybe doing it, but it's just it sets a nasty precedent doing that to other people.
Well, then they came out with the neutron bomb. Remember that one where it's got such a high dose of radiation it kills all living things, but the buildings remain intact.
Yeah.
So as far as warfare goes, I guess that's a good weapon because, you don't want to destroy all the property.
Right.
But I think we've took those out of our
But it's almost worse.
arsenal.
It's almost worse in some ways, because it's
I know.
That's like some stuff that aliens would use if they took over our planet.
Yeah. Kill all the humans and the cities are still intact and everything still functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it really is. War is a nasty thing.
Last I checked, though, unfortunately, war. If you're in a war, your objective is to win.
Right.
The war. I could never understand, even when I was a kid, though, why we got all these little different countries all over the world. Everybody's got armies. We each got our own little army and our own little navy. We're squabbling amongst each other. I don't know why the world can't get along. I haven't a clue, but that's the way it is so far.
Yeah, it's like everybody wants what everybody else has.
Yeah. And we're the police of the world, unfortunately. So everybody looks to us to, keep things in order. They're always looking to us. Oh, you got to do something. It's like, what? We got our own problems over here.
Well, part of the problem, if you think about it, is one reason that people want what other people have is because we have these, artificial boundaries that we've created around countries, which makes it to where, we can travel to other countries, but it's still it's different. Like you can't just freely move around. You gotta have a passport. It's an ordeal. There's different concerns and situations and stuff. So
different rules for each country.
Yeah, exactly. So it really makes it an ordeal to go to another country. But if you think about it, if you could just travel anywhere in the world freely. Anybody could just go anywhere, like it's anywhere else.
That'd be different.
Then it's like, well, there's no need to try to take over that land because it's like if you want to go there, just go there.
You already have to have a checkpoint before you go cross that imaginary line.
Yeah, exactly.
With armed guards there saying, let me see your papers.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, my papers. Visa, passport.
Yeah. It's like the whole, one of the really probably the biggest thing that the conspiracy theorists talk about, is the New World Order. It's like this scary, just the words just shatter glass when you say that, but it's funny because
one world government is that?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this idea that I get why it's scary to a lot of people. This idea of it is because you think, well, if there's only one government for the entire world, then that means whatever that government happens to be, you're stuck with it, and that is scary. I'll admit that is very scary.
Yeah, you wouldn't want the UN governing us.
Not at all.
I wouldn't,
because with the way things are going, you can almost guarantee that if there is some kind of one world government, that it's not going to include gun rights or the Constitution.
Probably not.
So in that sense, yes, the idea of a one world government is very scary, but it's not necessarily the concept that I find bad. It's just the way that it would more than likely be executed that I find scary. I mean, the idea that either you could have the entire world united to the point where we all kind of maybe have just like states have some different laws and stuff, but to where people can travel more freely. Within we already are getting to the point where there's really a world economy, anyways.
Seems that way.
If all people could be free in all these other countries and stuff, like that'd be awesome. Like it'd be awesome to feel like you could just hop over to China and it's not a big deal, or hop over to wherever and and it's not a big deal. We'd like to think that we could go to these places and have guns. Like just think about this: what if you could carry a gun everywhere in the world? You could go to China and carry a pistol, or you could go to
it was just
Russia and carry a pistol, and it's not a big deal. That'd be awesome. But then again, that's from our perspective. They may not like that, so it's tough. It's a tough situation.
I mean, in some countries, evidently chewing gum is a crime. I believe in Malaysia, I think.
Or I don't know. I think like if you stick it on something or spit it on the ground or something like that,
probably get a couple fingers whacked off in certain places.
Insane.
I don't know.
Insane. Like what's that country, or not the country, but what's that city in China? That it's they have just insanely strict laws where they will like chop your hand off or something.
I'm not sure. I know in Saudi Arabia, for certain things, they'll cane you in public.
Yeah,
take you down the square and whip you.
Yeah, beat you with a big piece of bamboo.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
Yeah,
do that no more.
We'll take off all your back muscle.
That's right.
It's crazy.
Over here, you get thrown in jail, get probably TV and 3 meals a day, and
yeah. Well, people
take a break from work, go to jail, relax.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing. People complain both ways about the prison system. And it's a tough call because while some people, they think, oh, these criminals, they've broken the law. They have it too easy. Look at that. They're getting food and water.
Movies.
I'm paying for this, and all this. Well, yeah, but they're people too. That's the thing. And also,
can't just put them in a box and
it depends on what they've done. I mean, most of the people in prison really are just people like you and me who either got caught doing something most people already do, and don't consider themselves criminals, or they just made like a couple of bad choices in their lives, which there's crimes need to there needs to be punished. But being removed from society to me is punishment enough. I don't think we should like further torture people inside prison by forcing them to eat, just insanely horrible food and being risks of sexual assault and violence.
Oh yeah,
that's the worst part of it. It's like, okay, yeah, you broke this law, but now we're going to throw you into this environment where really like actually going to jail is not the real punishment. You're actually going to be in this dangerous environment where
there is no law anymore.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
I've always found that crazy. Evidently, there was some couple, I just read a story about this, from Florida that had sex on the beach. God forbid.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And the maximum penalty is 10 years they're looking at. Now, granted, they probably won't get 10 years, but
wow.
I mean, that's a crime that's 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
having sex on the beach.
I mean, 10 years just for buying a cocktail drink. I mean, come on.
Yeah, cocktail.
That drink. That's a drink. But
but
yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
they probably won't do jail time. I suspect they'll have community service, but they got to register as sex offenders now too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
because that lumps them in with child molesters and everything else. Because there's not different categories. You're a sex offender, you're a sex offender.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're peeping Tom or a child molester or two grown adults having sex on the beach.
Or like the most mild form of it is you have like statutory rape where some 18-year-old guy is dating a 17-year-old. They're both in high school, and then like, I don't know, she sends him a picture or something on, a phone or something, anything like that.
Especially with all the electronic transfers we can do now with phones. Yeah. You get caught with an innocent picture like that of your girlfriend who happened to be 17 and you're 18.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a top on. You're a sex offender. You got to register now.
Yeah. What bothers me is when people go to jail, get their lives ruined or severely disadvantaged when they didn't hurt anybody and they aren't bad people. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they had this couple, they had sex on the beach. If a child saw that, you would have to give them the talk earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are they doing?
I mean, it's not good. There should be some punishment for
It was a
that.
stupid thing to do.
Yeah, you can't just have people doing that in public. It's trashy. You know what I mean?
Maybe if they found a private, very secluded part of the beach, it might have been possible, but evidently that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it's not good. It's trashy. I would never condone something like that or think that should ever be accepted in society. But then again, like, we need to revisit some of the punishments for things like that.
Yeah, 10 years. That'd be a little steep.
Or even any jail time, really, for something like that. That should be. I would like to see more fines than prison time, really, when it comes to a lot of things.
That's true, because that's where it hurts people, in the pocketbook.
Yeah.
Even if they have to make payments for the next 20 years or something.
Right. It's cheaper on the system. It makes money.
And some community service, picking up garbage or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So many things that are punishable by time in jail. Really, that's all it needs. If it's not something where, because really to me, jail should only be about, okay, this person is so dangerous that they need to be removed from society.
Right. Now, those types, that's who should be in prison.
People who have assaulted people, people who are really actually a danger to other people.
Right.
Okay, fine. We separate them to where they can't cause any harm and evaluate them and see if maybe at some point, okay, then we'll let them out. They've had time to maybe
put them on a
change.
short leash and keep an eye on them. See if they can function in society somehow.
Yeah, that makes sense. But when you have people going to jail for things and things that like most people have done or do, it's just crazy. Good people go into jail.
I'm sure they got in Texas, evidently got some harsh marijuana laws. I think there's people in prison for like having a joint on their floor of their car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
And
that's the thing that it doesn't really matter what you think about about drug use. You think that like all drug use is bad. The thing is, really what it boils down to is drug laws are about making a naturally occurring thing, or even if it's not naturally occurring, it's something that's made in a lab. You're talking about just a substance, just a thing that either exists naturally or has been produced, and you're saying that thing is illegal, and the reason for it is because it's dangerous. Well, if that's the rationale, then there's a lot of things that need to be illegal, right? Like rat poison.
Yeah.
It kills people.
It does kill people.
Poisonous mushrooms. They kill people. If you just go into the woods and just pick some mushrooms at random, you're probably going to die.
I wouldn't recommend that. That's for sure.
There's lots of really dangerous substances out there, so it's not really about if it's not about safety, public safety, then what's it about? And also, if you link it to the the gun argument, gun people would like to say, okay, guns, it's an object by itself. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt anybody.
Just sits there on the counter, just doesn't even move.
It takes a person to use it in an improper manner before it's dangerous. And any type of item, whether it's a chemical that's in high demand, or whether it's a sharp stick, or whatever it is,
fork, whatever it might be,
whatever it is, it could have the potential for danger in the wrong hands. But
I bet you a toothpick in the eye, that hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't recommend it.
No, definitely not.
You might be looking at my face thinking, what is wrong with me?
Why?
I've got to take a short break, if you know what I mean.
Okay. All right.
Is that possible?
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break and we'll be back. All right. So Rod had to use the facilities.
Yes. I
drinking too much water over there.
Too much water. Had a big cup of coffee before I came. Yeah, just nature happens.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes it happens when you're on the radio.
This is my first time on the show, so I was trying to signal him. I thought he was like looking at my face thinking, what? He's acting, it looks kind of weird, like he's in pain. But since it's not live, I guess we're all right.
Yep, that's all right. I try to make it like a live show, but
well, it is live right now.
Well,
we're alive, and
That's true.
This is happening right now.
We're alive. The people who are listening, it's happening right now for us, and it's also happening right now for the people who are listening.
Right. It's just not being broadcast right at this second.
That's right.
It'll be broadcast at a later time.
Yeah, exactly. And if I wanted to, I could cut stuff out of it, but I really try not to, just because.
Make it natural.
Yeah, I want it to be real. You know, there's no reason to. Well, have like, how boring would that be? A scripted radio show? You know. That would not be fun.
Deer Park. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Smooth, refreshing taste.
It's good stuff. Natural. Like us.
Oh, man. Now, that would be awesome. Deer Park wanted to be a sponsor.
Is that where all the deers like pee and poop in the water? Is that?
That's where they go camping.
Oh, that's where they go camping.
Yeah. So they take their families on the weekend.
Oh, to Deer Park?
Yeah.
Really?
It's a park for deer.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty
Says-
self-explanatory, right?
Says it's 100% natural, spring water.
I don't know. I think it was made in a lab.
Says pure quality since 1873. That's kind of shocking. I didn't know they had
Well, technically,
bottled water back in 1873.
well, I would say technically that water, so they got it out of the ground, is probably older than 1873. That's my guess.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Well, technically nothing is destroyed, right? So the water is actually the age of the planet, 4 billion years old, or 3,000, depending.
You would think it would be rather stale by now, the water.
You would think.
I mean,
That's true.
I don't know.
Huh. Interesting. Anyways.
Anyway, off
But,
that, I'm sorry. I was loving this water. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. So one thing I was going to ask you while I got you on here, so how long did you live in California?
I lived in California about 15 years.
Okay.
Got married out there. Wife had a baby out there. Lived in San Jose, or San Ho, as they called it.
What is that? I'm not that familiar with California. What other big city is that near? Is that?
It's kind of like the Tri-City. You got San Jose at the bottom of the bay. You got Oakland over there on the East Bay. And you got San Francisco up on the North Bay there.
Okay.
Like a little triangle.
Okay.
And San Jose, of course, known for Silicon Valley. Basically, Sunnyvale's next to it. That's Silicon Valley area where all Google, Facebook,
Yeah, that's cool.
they're basically all out there. But yeah, it was for a big sized town. I got to admit, that was one of the most peaceful towns. Hardly had any murders. I think because everybody worked, everybody had a job.
Yeah.
It was, economics why there was no crime.
Yeah.
Not because they're California and they're hip and cool.
Yeah.
That wasn't the reason.
I know it's got to be tough for you where you were actually the guy that came up with the concept for Google and you just told it to your neighbor as a joke. And then after you moved, you like got online, you're like, wait, what is this Google thing? That's like that thing I thought of.
I know. What's this Google thing?
Yeah.
I thought, do we really need another search engine? I mean, I use Alta Vista
Yeah.
or Yahoo or what's the other ones? Meta Search.
Yeah. I actually, my favorite one is Ask Jeeves. That's the one I use.
Ask Jeeves. He should know. Ask the butler.
That's right.
What do you need Google?
I remember like back in the day using Ask Jeeves, like you would actually ask the question.
Yeah.
If you were looking up for something about does, I don't know, Chevy, what kind of pickup truck does Chevy make? You'd actually ask. You'd ask that question. You wouldn't
Ask the question.
you wouldn't just type in Chevy pickup.
And put a question mark on the end so it
That's right.
understands.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it might think, that's not a question, that's a statement.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
But so anyway,
Ask Jeeves.
I was gonna.
He's still around too.
Is it still?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
They're all still around.
That's funny.
Nobody goes to them, but they're still around.
I always joke with people how I have a MySpace page. Sometimes at the end of my videos, the shooting videos, I'll say, okay, check us out on MySpace or whatever.
Yeah,
And some people believe that.
I still have a MySpace page, but they destroyed it. I had all my songs that I ever loved, had a playlist, and then Justin Timberlake came along with his buddies and rebought the place and changed everything. All my music's gone. I got to start over.
Oh,
I wasn't happy with that, but that's how it goes sometimes.
yeah. That'd be funny if MySpace made a comeback, wouldn't it?
They're trying, but it's mostly for music,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it makes sense. But, okay, so you've been living in California for a long time. And in the gun culture, California is referred to as California.
California.
And it's known for having some of the worst gun laws in the entire country, which I don't know that it has the worst. New Jersey might actually be the worst.
Jersey, or New York, maybe. At least New York City.
It's definitely one of the big four, as I call them. You know, California, New Jersey, New York, and Illinois.
Illinois.
Those are the bad ones.
Illinois without the S. Illinois.
Yeah. That's right.
I know.
And so, you know, maybe you can provide us with some insight. What's wrong with those people out there? Why don't they like guns? No, a lot of them do. But
yeah, I guess, you know, if you get out of L.A. and you get out of San Jose, San Francisco, those are really the big towns. San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco, and L.A. I can't really think of any other big cities there, but outside those areas, you go to San Bernardino, and they like their guns there because they're like cowboys.
Yeah.
Modesto, Stockton, California. Everybody's heard of that. That's the Wild West still out there, but the city culture, I guess they're just eating tofu and, you know, drinking their spring water. I don't know.
Maybe they pride themselves on being so progressive, and I like the idea of progressive, right? I mean, everyone should. You want things to get better, but unfortunately, people have. Well, I mean, it is what it is. People have a different idea of what progressive is, and guns kind of got left out of that.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that progressive thing, isn't that code word for socialism or communism?
Basically, yeah.
Progressive. It sounds good. I'm a progressive.
Yeah, I want to take that word back. I'm going to start calling myself a progressive. I'm progressive. I like gun rights. I'm for social freedoms.
I like freedom of speech.
Yeah,
to say whatever I want, even if it offends you or someone.
Right.
I mean, get over it. Sorry.
Yeah. But I don't get it. Like, why can't we can say what we want, right? As long as it doesn't hurt someone. But we can't do what we want as long as it doesn't hurt someone.
That's true. I mean, you can't say you want to kill someone.
Or you can't yell fire in a crowded area.
Yeah.
If you say something that could lead someone to that could lead to someone being injured or some kind of problem like that, then that freedom of speech doesn't count there.
Yeah, that's where it draws the line, I guess.
Because you're hurting someone.
But if you're just making somebody feel uncomfortable or you hurt their feelings because of something you said, they need to toughen up and get over it, I would think.
Yeah, it's a free country.
I mean, good Lord.
That's the thing. It goes both ways. They can say what they want to say too. So it's like, I mean,
yeah, they can call me a stupid whatever.
Right.
I'll be like, okay.
That's the thing. I mean, there's if everyone has freedom, then that means that everyone is going to have to deal with what other people want to say or what they want to do. As long as no one's getting hurt, that's the the main thing. But California though has always been kind of the
unfortunately, they're trendsetters.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it starts there and starts spreading.
Exactly. And some good things come out of there. Some really good things come out of there. But some things that not so great. Like that's what was scary for a while is that California was really the trend. They everyone knows that they're trendsetters and they're very ungun friendly. So they really had a lot of people worried for a long time about what the state of gun rights was going to end up being. But it's kind of moving back the other direction. We're actually getting some of our rights back.
Yeah, I don't really know what the laws are in San Jose per se to have a gun. I'm pretty sure you can't discharge a gun in the city limits unless at a gun range or something.
Yeah, which some of those laws, make sense. Like, really, you shouldn't be firing a gun, outside unless you have a obvious backstop.
Yeah,
and plenty of land.
That's true.
So some of those laws don't really bother me unless you have like city limits encompassing like really rural areas. Then it kind of gets tricky.
I think the trouble too is there's nothing stopping a moron from having a gun, right?
Right. That's the thing.
It's the problem.
Yeah.
You don't really. I don't think there's any IQ level that's cut off for owning a gun. You just have to pass the background check.
Yeah.
When you're first buying it. but I don't think that's one of the questions. What's your IQ, sir?
No, it's not.
No. So it's like, okay.
And plus, really, the background check, the anti-gunners get real, adamant about that, how important that is. But really, the background check is really kind of irrelevant, anyways, because
It's kind of superficial. Is that what you're saying?
well, like, what does it matter? I mean, a criminal is going to get a gun. He's not going to take a background check. So why should an honest person have to get a background check?
Well, I know, I understand that. It never made sense because Chicago guns are banned, but the criminals still have guns, and there's still murders happening with guns.
Or like in California, it's known as like the gang capital of the world, almost. I mean,
They
there's
got guns.
so much gang violence out there, and they have really strict gun laws. So magazine capacity limits and and like you have to have like that rifle sitting right there, that AR-15. You can't even have that in California. You have to have like a special version of it that looks friendlier.
Oh, it's about what it looks like. That looks too menacing.
Yeah, for the most part, it's about the looks. Like for example, the pistol grip. Somewhere, somehow, some politician got in their head that a gun with a pistol grip is more deadly. That doesn't make any sense. So it's like these ignorant cosmetic kind of things, become political talking points somehow, and they're based on no evidence whatsoever.
I'm willing to bet, though, you could go to Northern Tool in California and buy yourself a machete for about $5.
Yep.
A 3-foot long hacking device.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess to hack down those pesky weeds that grow in California. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they are handy, but you can buy those or a sledgehammer or axe.
Yep.
It just depends how you're using it.
Yep.
Use it properly. There's no problem.
I mean, I'll agree that guns are more efficient at being deadly. They are. Of course they are. I mean, if
Pull that trigger.
They're better at it. It's true. But the thing is, we can't assume to be able to stop people from getting them.
They're all over. How many guns are in America? Is there like 350 million guns?
Yeah, there's like one for every person.
One for every person. And I've only got one, so that means you and lots of other people got 10 or so.
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't have any. So.
I'm getting another, though.
Yeah, you need to.
My girlfriend's getting a little handgun. She wants a handgun, H&K, but I'm discussing that with John now about the cost of a H&K.
What model is it again?
It's the P71 M76, I think.
Okay.
I looked it up in a gun collector magazine. It's pretty pricey. It was like $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah. Someone listening to the show might be more familiar with it than I am, because I don't know a whole lot about H&Ks. But
I don't either. She had one when she was younger in California. She's a California girl. She actually had a handgun.
Yeah.
In San Jose.
Which,
that was years ago, though.
Yeah. It's only been more recently that their gun laws have been so strict.
Yeah. But she insists she wants that model. But I took a picture of a little something John had today. I'm going to show it to her. And a lot better price. I mean...
Yeah, it depends on what she wants it. If
she wants it for,
it's probably a collectible gun. If it is like the price that you say, I mean, it's a collector's piece.
Yeah.
If you just want something that shoots,
something to keep by the nightstand instead of trying to find the shotgun and
right,
get that thing ready to go. It's right there in the drawer. Boom.
Yeah.
Just in case you need it.
And handguns are really, really good for home defense, I think, because you never know what the situation is going to be. And some people, that don't understand guns will say like, "Oh, all you need is a shotgun for home defense. What's all this wanting a handgun stuff?" Well, thing is, it's a long gun. It's the same reason that soldiers in World War II would have people send them handguns, because when they were in the foxhole, they knew that a handgun was a lot faster if somebody came up on them.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so a handgun is much handier. And
same if you're lying in bed. Get the shotgun from the corner and shoot it from a prone position in your bed.
It's kind of an ordeal, yeah.
Problem where the little drawer, boom, I'm right there.
Yeah.
Because, all the stories I read, my girlfriend gets a little paranoid sometimes. You hear about these home invasions and, I don't know if I'd be ready for it, and maybe even if I have a handgun, I won't be ready. But
At least you got a chance, though.
got a chance.
That's the thing, you have I don't know. I've never been in a shootout. I might freeze up, very possible. But you know what? I got the right tool for the job.
Yeah. All I got now is I could throw my cell phone at him. That's on the side of the bed. That's my defense.
Well, it might distract him. He might get it and be like, "Oh, I gotta check my emails."
Oh, that's right.
Or, "Oh man, I gotta try to get to the next level on Candy Crush."
That's true, because he might not have been on the internet for a while because he's on the run or whatever he's doing.
That's true. So that might actually be more effective than a gun.
Because he might say, "Oh, gee, he gave me a phone. Well, I'll just leave now.
Yeah.
I won't, rape and kill. I'll just take the phone and go."
That's true. So there could be an upside to how overly distracted people are by their devices.
That's true. Candy Crush Saga.
That's right. It is getting crazy how I know a certain person that lives under the same roof that I do that I have caught on a few occasions watching TV while also watching a YouTube video on her phone.
Uh-oh. You're not talking about your wife.
Oh, of course not.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. Watching YouTube video on her phone while watching a drama on TV. And
in her defense, there's been a couple of times where I've instinctively almost gone to do that. And then I've caught myself and go, "Whoa, what am I doing here? This is bad."
It's overload.
Yeah, because your attention span really just starts to just plummet if you spend too much time on your phone or on the computer looking at stuff or whatever. It's like you really gotta balance that stuff out. It can be hard.
That's a problem in America. Attention span.
It is,
and we forget quickly too. But yeah, I don't know what the average attention span is on people. It's really short.
It depends on what you do. That's what makes a really big difference. I catch myself that's one reason I really got lately big into reading. Like books.
Reading a book,
like paper books, not on a Kindle.
That's time consuming.
It is.
That's tedious.
It is.
A whole book.
Yeah, I know.
Like this thick.
Yeah, I could have watched 100 YouTube videos in that time, but it's helped though. It's helped me a lot. To just kind of some balance, get away from so much
old-fashioned book.
Yeah,
not on a tablet.
No, just
hardcover.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. It's old-fashioned. You actually have to physically turn.
I see some of your books there on your shelf. You can learn a lot about people by looking at the titles of the books they read. I'm not going to disclose what John's got on his shelf, but people would be surprised.
I read some philosophy stuff.
Yeah, he's a philosophical type of guy.
Well,
even in your bathroom, I saw Philosophy Made Easy or something.
That book that I got. Actually, there's a book I bought in Tucson. Book. Oh no, that's actually my wife's book. But there's a book I bought in Tucson. It's called "If Life Was Fair, Horses Would Ride Half the Time."
Yeah,
which is it's a pretty cool little book. It's like a comedy book.
Imagine how they feel. What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
That's why mules are so stubborn. They're like, I don't like being a mule. This is ridiculous. Why do I have to pull all the heavy?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But I can't help but be intrigued. By just the human experience in general. Not just the day to day. Like what kind of car am I going to drive? What sports team am I going to follow? What am I going to do at work? Or what did this person do or that person do? Mm-hmm. Just the overall big picture. Like how did we get here? Why are we here? What are we supposed to do? What's the point of all of this? Is there a way to figure out how to better to do this thing or to or what are there clues? Are there certain? That's why I study some ancient history stuff, which is really interesting. I feel like there's clues have been left for us.
I would hope so.
Big giant, humongous clues out in the desert and in various areas
that we
can't miss them, but yet we do at the same time.
But we don't know what they really mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It is a dilemma.
There's lots of life is it's too interesting to ever be bored.
I can't understand people that say, I hate to hear that from kids too. I'm bored.
Yeah.
No, you're boring is what it is.
Exactly.
You're boring.
Exactly.
If you can't think of anything to do in your mind, whatever it may be, doodle, Go outside, get some fresh air. How many different things can humans do? There's millions.
There's an insane amount of experiences
Go do something.
just waiting to be had. We'll never get to experience all of them in our lifetime. So to say that you're bored is just
sad.
That's a great point. I never heard it put that way. You're not bored. You're boring.
You're boring.
Yep.
Get out of here. I don't want to listen to you.
That's true. Now, unless you're stuck in a situation like if you're, in a hospital a waiting room or something like that, and there's nothing to do,
It could be.
then maybe.
But you always got your smartphone.
That's true. Yep. Which, not to knock technology, but what I was saying earlier, I think it's a great thing. I love having all that information at my fingertips.
Oh, man.
I've just found that it's important to try to have some balance. Otherwise, it'll become to where it kind of owns you instead of you.
Well, that's true. And a lot of times I like to fact check some people.
Yeah.
These boasters or these people that just spout off information like it's factual.
Yeah.
And it's way off. Somebody might say, well, the moon's, 1,200,000 miles away.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute. Like, Google, how far is the moon from Earth? Dude, where did you come up with your figure? That's totally wrong.
Yeah.
So with Google and a smartphone in your hand, you better have your facts straight because I might have to check that out.
Yeah. And it's really, if you think about it, it's really going to speed up human evolution like fast, big time. We're in overdrive right now because of all this technology. Because think about
information overload.
Right. Think about a conversation pre-smartphone, right? We're talking about something and we're like, oh, I wonder if this, that. And then they're like, oh, I think this is that one thing. And then we're like, oh, I'm not sure. And then we kind of have to drop it because we're like, well, we don't really know.
I don't know. You
Well,
got
now-
an encyclopedia here?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, maybe we can call the library, But now you look up that information and they're like, oh, it's this thing. Oh, well, because it's this thing, what if it's that thing and this thing? Oh, well, let's look that up too. And it's like you can get so much farther with exploring something.
And some people don't like Wikipedia only for the fact that anybody can edit it.
Well,
But I think it's a pretty reliable source because, sure, you can be a knucklehead and go in there and change stuff, but
people
it's not
don't
going
usually.
to. They're not going to do that.
I use it as a getting started, is what I do.
Yeah.
Like I would never.
It's not your end all.
Yeah, I'm not
information
I'm not
source.
gonna lean on it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'll go there and read some stuff and some really quick stuff and okay, that seems right. And I might, if I'm worried about it, I'll check some other sources if it's something I really am wanting to lean on as reliable information. Really, there's almost no such thing as facts. We can never be sure if something is really true.
Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Or just because it's in a book, or just because
Somebody said it.
experience said it, or whatever. That brings me to something too that people have to be careful about is like when it comes to like self-defense shootings, for example. There's some people out there who, let's say they've actually been in a shooting. Well, yeah, of course, that person is going to know way more than someone like us who's never been in a shootout because they've been in a shootout.
Right.
But still, you have to be careful because it'd be kind of like, well, neither of us have flown a plane before. But if we talk to a guy who has flown a plane once, we're going to go, wow, he knows a lot more than us. But still, he's only flown a plane one time.
One time. This dude's only been in a shootout one time.
Right.
For 30-second period maybe, or however long it lasted.
Yeah, which is a situation where it's probably different every single time.
Right.
So just because this person has a vastly more knowledge than us on the subject doesn't necessarily mean he's an authority. So it's like you got to kind of put it, in perspective. And a lot of stuff like that is on the internet. It seems like, wow, this guy knows so much more. This article, it seems they have so much more information than me about this, but doesn't necessarily mean they got the full story.
Right. I wish they, with all this, the police are really under fire now for a few incidents here and there. But I'm telling you, I wish people would look at YouTube and see all the times where cops have just pulled over a car and the person in the car jumps out firing at them. You don't ever know what you're going to have when you pull somebody over or detain somebody.
Yeah.
It's just, now people are just murdering cops.
I really feel bad for police in this country right now.
It's a bad time for them, and I'm pro police. Believe me,
I mean, there's, I see a lot of anger out there. Just people generalizing all cops. Most cops, just like most people, are great people. They're trying to do their job right. It's
right.
A small number of them that are bad, and sometimes even the ones that seem bad aren't necessarily. They're stuck in a tough situation, doing a tough job.
I mean, you don't know if you don't shoot, then you might get shot yourself, and you're just doing a job. I mean, you're stopping these knuckleheads that you don't know what's going on in that car.
No.
You don't know what's the situation.
You don't.
So you don't have much time to think.
No, you don't.
I mean, when they say, I always found, I've been stopped by the police before. I am a Caucasian male, but we commit crimes too.
Yep.
And do bad things. But I always found that if I listen to what the cop says and do what he says, then I don't have no problem.
Yep.
Because he's going to ask me, where am I going? Where am I coming from, to try to ascertain if I'm lying to him or not. And, some people don't like that. Well, you have no right to question me. It's just better. He's got a gun and a badge and can arrest you. Just go along with it, and you probably won't get hurt.
Yeah, the place to fight is in a courtroom, not there.
Don't try to battle them on the street. It's going to be... It's not going to be a pretty sight for whatever happens.
No, it's not. And the thing is, from my work in security, I already kind of knew pretty well how to deal with cops. And I get pulled over a lot because I'm bad about updating my registration, and also have long hair. So
that long hair,
yeah,
beard,
exactly.
Damn hippie, must be a drug slinger.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. You used to have a Tahoe too, or you still got it, but you don't drive that much.
Yeah, well, the Yukon. Yeah.
The Yukon.
Yeah,
it's
falling apart now.
It's a dope runner truck.
That's right, exactly. So but for my work in security, I understand that the thing is, the cop always has to win. That's the thing to understand. The cop is going to come out on top of you no matter what.
To let him win.
So what you do is, you let them win as soon as possible, because sometimes for a cop, winning is letting you go.
Oh yeah,
or letting you off. Because if you act confrontational, if you're in a situation where like he thinks that you've done something wrong and he wants to give you a ticket, if you act confrontational, like
you're automatic got a ticket then.
Acting like you don't want that ticket. Well, now he has to give you that ticket because he's not going to let you win.
I know.
That's never going to happen.
He got mad, so I'll just give you a warning since you're mad.
Right. Exactly.
No.
So you're better off to just, like I always do, I get pulled over, turn the dome light on so they can see. I make sure my hands are visible. A lot of times.
Don't be reaching for your registration at that time.
No.
Shuffling around the glove box.
No. If I can't get it right away, like as soon as I get stopped, that's when I try to get it. And if I can't find it or something, then I just stop and wait till he gets there. And then I say, okay, I need to get it. And it's probably right here. And then I'll do it slowly. Make sure they can see my hands.
That's what they're concerned. Where's your hands? What's he looking for in the truck and underneath the seat or whatever? That causes a concern.
That's a far bigger concern than the reason they stopped you. They're not really that worried about the reason they stop you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, they might want to give you a ticket or not. It doesn't matter. That's not really what they're worried about. They want to see, are you a threat to them?
Right.
One thing I read online is that, and it seems pretty accurate, is that cops constantly, whenever you're involved in any type of, not altercation, but just whenever you meet a cop in a professional sense, right? He pulls you over, stops you, asks you questions, whatever. They are constantly, they try to evaluate whether you are a citizen or a criminal, and they split everybody up in those two categories. And like, I think I've noticed,
a good citizen, you mean?
Right, like what they call just like a regular citizen,
regular Joe that goes to work,
or a lawbreaker. And a lot of times, because they profile me because I got long hair and stuff, I can tell that they kind of see me as like, this guy's a potential criminal
already.
But then as soon as they start talking to me and they see like all this that I go above and beyond, and making him feel comfortable about where my hands are and the lighting and all that stuff, they immediately, you can see that their tune changes. They realize, okay, this guy, he's not a problem.
Of course, when they run your tag and it comes back all clean.
Yeah, no
nothing
warrants or
on it.
anything.
No warrants, doesn't have a arrest history, arm length.
Right. And then one thing I noticed that helps is having a care permit, because if you have a care permit, they have a document, they have a little card that they can look at that basically says this person has passed a certain level of background checks.
I'm one of you, brother.
That's right.
Basically.
Yeah, sort of.
Then have the fraternal order of the police sticker on the back of your car.
Now that is a bad idea, actually.
Maybe this day and age.
What's funny is...
What's better than having a bumper sticker that says, I drink beer till I puke,
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's not good.
Having one of those is a bad idea unless you actually are a cop, because one, if you are doing illegal stuff, that's not going to make them not pull you over.
Somebody like, hey, look, I got a sticker on the back of my car.
Yeah.
I support the police.
That's going to make them more suspicious.
Open your trunk.
Because they can tell, they can tell. Cops are smart, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny, people that try to fool cops in the ways they do.
Well, that's what they do. That's their job, right? Don't they have training on...
Yeah, on being lied to and lying to people.
And profiling, I guess they could call it. There's no reason not to profile. Why would you look for somebody that's not, like, I don't know. The profiling thing is ridiculous. They do it.
They have to.
I mean, if you're looking for a Middle Easterner, a terrorist, you're going to be overlooking, a little old lady.
Yeah.
But they don't do that at the airport. They randomly stop little old ladies, right, and frisk them and fill them up and stuff.
I mean, I don't like the system being racist. But the thing is, if we could just get rid of this whole race thing, and realize that we're all human beings. Some of us look a little different, but we're all 99.9% the same. Then the profiling thing wouldn't be a big deal, because it'd be like if. Like, I don't see profiling as any different as if there's a suspect they're looking for and they're like, he's really tall. He's over 6 feet tall. And if a cop stops me and wants to question me because they were looking for a guy who's really tall.
With a beard.
Yeah.
Long
I'm
hair.
not going to be offended by that. Why am I not offended by that? Because that's not something that has a historical sense of, it doesn't have the issues that race does historically. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I'm not offended by that, because I've never been, tall people have never been persecuted for being tall. You know what I mean? So it doesn't bother me. It's just something that distinguishes me versus other people.
You do get a lot of dumb questions, though, being you're tall.
Oh, man.
How's the weather up there, John?
Yeah. Especially in like real, like backwards areas, I've noticed it a lot more. Like if I'm in the city or something or in town, it's like I don't hardly get it very often.
Going to a little podunk town.
But you get out there and sticks,
Whoa.
So you walk it, like there's been so many times where it's like just going into the gas station and get something to drink or get my gas, and some
Dad, I got
like,
harassed in the gas station again.
Yeah, and I've had people just go crazy. It was like, damn, you're tall. How tall are you? Just excited about it.
Easy, partner. Take it easy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that gets old after a while.
Especially if you and your dad together.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, there's two tall guys.
Yeah.
There's an older one and a young one. Look at them. They're so tall.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you need to get out more.
Yeah. Watch your head when you leave there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would get annoying.
Yeah, that was probably one reason we got along pretty well early on. You were like cultured, unlike some people around here, You weren't right away like, wow, you're tall, You're
a tall dude.
You've actually been around people who look different before, Imagine that.
I had a few tall friends. Yeah. Not as tall as you, John, but I've seen some taller guys than you, though.
Yeah. They're
pictures of them.
Yeah, they're out there. I've met some.
Even that Chinese guy, that basketball player, is taller than you, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
7 foot something.
I'll tell you one thing that annoys me is sometimes other tall people will really annoy me. And other tall people, I split them into two categories.
They want to come over next to you to see if you measure up.
Exactly. I put them into two categories, right? I'll meet tall guys who are just like me, who then you can tell they notice it, but they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be just another guy that says something.
Oh, you're really tall too.
Yeah, occasionally they will say something, but they're always cool about it. Like every now and then, like a really tall guy will be like, "Hey, nice to see some normal sized people around here." Yeah, and that's cool.
Fun.
That doesn't bother me. It's funny, and it's almost like a little
'Cause he
brotherhood
knows.
there.
Yeah, he knows. He always gets the same thing you do.
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, that dude's cool, But then occasionally you'll have a tall guy, and I always assume that they're probably like people who also don't get out much, and they're used to like always being by far the tallest guy around.
So you're like a challenge.
Yeah, and
Think you're tall, huh?
it's sort of. But what they do is I can always weed those people out because they want to get real close to you.
Oh, to see
Yeah.
if they're taller or you're taller.
Either one, I don't know, but that really bugs me.
I think I seen that one time. I think we went out with you. Some tall guy kind of ended up near you
Yeah, it happens
when
It
we
probably
went
was.
downtown that time.
Yeah, that's right.
All of a sudden, there was this tall guy.
They want to get real close to me, like they break that kind of like natural bubble that people have,
They stand up real straight.
Yeah, and you can always tell that that's what they're doing. They're not just kind of just there, like, hey, what's up? They get like real close to you, and they always have kind of the same look. They always have the same expression on their face, and it's like immediately I'm like, oh, one of those,
You caught me. I was just checking out, see if I was taller.
Yeah, that annoys me because like, who cares? Like I had no control over this. Like this was not an accomplishment. This is not an award.
You didn't work at it, huh?
Yeah,
To try
I
to be
did.
taller.
Well, actually, I did. Yeah.
Stretch thing.
Yeah.
That rack the parents used to put you in
that's
when you were a
right.
kid.
Exactly.
We're gonna make our kid tall. Damn it.
Yeah.
He's gonna play basketball.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
The poor white man playing basketball. It's
And I always get thing I always get is people always say, "I'll bet you just reach up and drop it in." Talking about basketball. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes.
that's all I have to do.
I could be in the NBA right now making millions of dollars, but I decided it was too easy. So
That's
I
right.
don't.
Just throw me the ball and you turn around, boom.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I know.
I don't know what's wrong with people.
They refuse to think.
People are flawed. We're all flawed.
We are. You know what though? I don't care how people think. People can think how they want to think. I don't want someone telling me how to think, so I don't want to tell other people how to think. But
That's
here's
right.
something that I will tell people.
Uh-oh.
Think. Like, that's
Think.
it. Just try to think.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Like, realize when you're not thinking and then try to think. I mean,
Like creative thinking.
yeah. I mean, you may come up with a totally different idea than I do, which is fine. I mean, everybody should have different ideas. Otherwise,
Thank God.
you're there's something wrong with you if you
That'd
think
be a
like
sad
everyone.
world if we all thought the same.
Yeah, it would.
I wouldn't even, I don't know. Yeah,
It'd be boring.
You wouldn't even want to go out. Like, oh God, I could go deal with me all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible. Everybody acts
Yeah.
like me. I hate it. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Exactly.
Ugh.
I know. You get to where you just hated yourself.
I know. I hate myself. I hate
Yeah.
everybody around me because they all act like me. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, to me, the whole point of it is that everyone has different ideas. That's just. But for some reason, certain ideas we feel it's necessary to fight over, to want to kill each other over. But at least think. It's like some people they just.
I hate people that can't accept different ideas. I mean, I accept.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much a middle of the roader, maybe a little to the right, but I'll listen to a liberal's thoughts and stuff and hear them out, and they got some good points generally.
Yeah.
But I don't think like that.
It's just an idea. There's no reason to be
Yeah.
afraid of it or challenged by it.
They seem to be the ones though that generally will only their way is
Right.
the right way.
Yeah. Well, the conservatives too. I mean,
Well, yeah, on either side of the spectrum, I guess.
yeah, on the far ends, yeah, definitely. But anytime that people are just challenged, really just challenged by an idea, it kind of makes you go, well, maybe you're propping up some kind of fiction in your own head. And
That might be.
I think people do that sometimes. We cushion ourselves and keep a fiction alive just because it makes us feel better sometimes.
That's true.
And we're all guilty of it. I know I've done it, about many things in my life,
Yeah.
But I try to get rid of those kinds of things because at the end of the day, if you're going to be honest to one person, you got to be honest to yourself. That's the thing.
Yeah, if you can't be honest with yourself, that's the real problem.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, that's the thing. You control your destiny in everything you do.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But we're naturally lazy. I mean, I'll admit it. I'm lazy. I have to work at not being lazy.
I mean, look at the things we got to do just to maintain hygiene.
Yeah.
You got to get up, you got to brush your teeth, shave, take showers, you know.
Yeah. Got to eat food so you don't
Time
die.
consuming. Got to eat food constantly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Which, it's funny. Me and Dad were talking about this the other day. One of the things that makes food so addictive and so hard to put down is the fact that you have to have it. Like,
You have to have it.
let's say you were hooked on heroin. Well, you can just, you don't need heroin. You can just get off of heroin and then like stay away from it and never touch it again.
Food.
But food, you have to keep eating it. So it would be like if something was addictive as heroin, but you weren't trying to quit. You were just trying to do less of it. It's hard. It's hard.
Food is.
I'm trying to eat less right now, and it's hard.
We're only, what? I think a portion is supposed to be the size of your fist, they say.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn who they are. I always hear that. You know what they say.
Yeah, exactly. Who is that?
I don't know who that is, but.
I eat a portion probably about the size of like 2 of my feet.
Yeah.
So
my portion.
I'm slacking,
I think I've tried to eat where I'm comfortable, not that bloated feeling.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, I'm stuffed. Like a Thanksgiving type
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah, exactly.
I can't eat no more. I'll have some pie. No. Okay, I'll have one little piece of pie.
Yeah.
But
It's hard to stop sometimes. You're like, I can eat more, so maybe I should.
I know.
Because it's pleasurable to eat,
they should ban those buffets, I guess, huh? That's just not.
Oh, yeah.
That's so bad for humans. All you can eat buffet. Come on in.
Yeah, like Golden Corral.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And you think your intention of going in there is like, okay, I'm gonna hit this boy. I'm gonna eat a lot.
Yeah.
But you stack up your plate, you take it back, you eat all that, and you're like, well, maybe I'll get a couple more things.
Yeah.
I just can't do some guys are able to do 2 or 3 plates. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I try, but it just bogged down. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. I know.
I know those Chinese places, they hate to see a big, hefty, fat man come in. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, no. No more for you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man.
I know. I got to where I can't eat those Chinese buffets anymore because usually that's the one thing about buffets. The food is rarely that good of quality.
They got a bunch of chicken, different kinds of chicken. Orange chicken, lemon chicken,
Yeah.
General Chow chicken. Chicken.
I'll tell you a Chinese place I really like is P.F. Chang's. I think they have several of those around.
Yeah.
That place is
I've
good.
ate there before. Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's not like real Chinese food, but it's good though.
It's good. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
it is. All right. Well, I guess we've blabbered at these guys long enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't be scared, folks. There'll be other shows.
That's right. There'll be others.
Yeah, there'll be other shows.
But I appreciate you coming on, man. It's been fun.
Oh, it's been fun, John. This is
Yeah.
my first time on radio. It was a relaxing experience. And like you always said, people have always told me when I was a kid, you should be on radio, Rod, just
Yeah.
because of my voice.
You got the voice for it.
Got the deep voice. I should be an announcer for your show.
That's true. I got to get you to record the intro
When
for
it
me.
gets big.
That's right.
Introducing
Yeah.
in this corner, weighing 220 pounds.
Yeah. I got to get you on that other mic I got sometime. It's even more. It'll really bring out that golden radio voice.
And I need a little more reverb and cowbell on there.
The cowbell,
A
yeah,
little bit, something like that.
That one's a little flattered. That's the mic I use for my co-host Derek. He's sort of
okay.
I call him my semi co-host because I have him on like every other show. His voice is real dynamic, so I put him on that mic.
Dynamic.
Works better.
All right. Well, I hope I was dynamic enough for you, sir.
Oh yeah, definitely, of course.
And I guess we'll go on about our day now.
Yeah, man, we'll do it again sometime, and it's been fun.
Sounds good.
All right,
Talk to you later.
Yep, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.